If I ask you to think of tech, you might think of this, or this, or even this. What we might forget, however, is that places like a hotel lobby, for instance, are vastly different from hotel lobbies from 50 years ago because of tech. Yet there are hardly any computers or loud Blade Runner aesthetics about. In fact, entering this Singapore hotel lobby feels more like walking into someone's inviting minimalist kitchen living room, where fancy coffee can be made on the fly, free of charge. Takeout food can be brought in and microwaved, or the creation of a homemade meal, and even a self-service beer tap lever within reach, all the while maintaining a work and lounge environment all at the same time. Hmlet Cantonment in Singapore seeks to blend a co-working and co-living space with the communal-friendly atmosphere of a hostel, but with the comforts and services of a well-maintained 4-star hotel. Hi, I'm Rafael, a tech lawyer, and this is Living with Tech, where we reflect on today's ordinary, which was yesterday's extraordinary. I have stayed in Hmlet for a total of 39 nights, spread out through 3 different trips the past 12 months, and paid with it with my own money. During this time, I realized it wasn't fair to classify Hmlet as a typical hotel, apartment, or vacation rental such as an Airbnb or even a hostel. It is definitely more expensive than a hostel, yet provides the communal nature of shared living and work areas. Hmlet gives you a private room with your own full shower and toilet while also maintaining cleaning every other day like a hotel, but unlike a hotel, provides more facilities such as a premium modern communal kitchen on every floor, complete with cooking materials and a fancy automated coffee machine in each of them. And unlike a traditional vacation rental in which you need to look for a key hidden under a flower vase or coordinate the timing of handing over the keys for check-in and check-out within your Airbnb host, there is a traditional lobby desk and personnel to assist you with that any time of the day, including a very friendly and capable technical team in case you encounter any plumbing or air conditioning problems. Hmlet gives nightly rates like a regular hotel. However, they also give special monthly and annual rates, an obvious sign to attract people to consider them not only as temporary lodging but as one's future home. In a way, Hmlet is an experiment and a window of what more hotels and possibly offices could be like in the future, where concepts such as work from home, creating income through quality content creation which requires minimal gear, and a steep rise in population rental prices could be leading us to. Singapore, a whole country self-contained within a small city half the size of Rhode Island, is one of the most expensive places in the world to live in, primarily due to the high standard of living and obvious scarcity of land area to incorporate enough space for both commercial and residential needs. This makes Singapore uniquely challenged and more pressured than most urban cities on how to make the limited space it has serve multiple needs. Hmlet is one such experiment which achieves this by taking advantage of 3 things which we take for granted nowadays. Number 1, we need less things. While consumerism encourages us to buy multiple things for various tasks such as an e-reader for books, a laptop for work, a tablet to do both but in a different way, and a smartphone to do a little bit of everything. Technically speaking though, we could actually accomplish everything we need with just any of these devices, except for maybe the e-reader. In fact, I had a friend from law school back in 2011 who read mountains of jurisprudence all from his smartphone, something I would never recommend due to how small the screen is. And another law school friend who had decided that it was better to do away with a smartphone altogether, instead use her tablet as her phone. Owning a printer becomes unnecessary bulk. I found that my backpack carried everything I needed to entertain myself with while keeping me productive with my work during my long stay in Singapore. With that being the case, a living area doesn't need an elaborate entertainment system, provided there is reliable Wi-Fi and the guest comes prepared with his or her own reliable gear. I never at any point even used a flat screen TV in my room, and with the advent of things such as VR and AR headsets, perhaps the TV will become obsolete 20 years from now as well. This too would also probably be what we carry around with us in the years to come. 15 years ago, it was a necessity for any quality hotel to have a space for a shared computer. I myself used to check my email from these terminals during the era in which internet cafes were the only other place travelers could get access to the web, and a hotel which provided a communal computer was considered a luxury due to the privacy it provided. Today, instead of lining a set of computers people would be terrified to encode their email credentials into anyway, Hmlet has a series of desks paired with ergonomic chairs and extension cords for guests to use with devices they they own and bring with them. I couldn't help but realize that the luxury of using a private communal computer 15 years ago would be laughable today, and a misallocation of space and capital for a hotel to provide. In short, hotels should not provide things which their guests already have. Instead, double down on things which their guests need. A comfortable living experience. This means highlighting the importance of cleanliness, comfortable beds, a spacious living area, and a tasteful room aesthetic. Okay, so this is my charging station. I actually bought an extension cord so that I could my watch and my earphones. Suitcase there to make room. Over here, I think the layout makes it look neater. And this is the bathroom. Backlighting for the mirror. Actually, the bathroom is quite spacious for Singapore standards. Shower head, a telephone, and a faucet. That's a bidet. And actually, what's really cool about this is that I really like this black aesthetic vibe. However, the problem with this is that it actually comes off. Very minimal choice in furnishings. At least it's consistent, as you can see. This makes the addition of things like a hotel library superfluous. Who needs that if you have a pocket library with you at all times? A hotel concierge or a lobby employee tasked with helping you make reservations or make restaurant recommendations also isn't important as it was a decade ago. Armed with eSIMs with data, anyone can just Google map their way towards restaurants and decide based on their own preferences through online reviews rather than take the advice of a stranger who knows nothing about you. If you're enjoying the story so far, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel, as it would mean so much to me and it will help in the creation of even better content. Number 2, an office can be anywhere. Regardless if you are on the team of work from home or return to office, it cannot be denied that a bountiful amount of work can now be done from anywhere you are. Otherwise, businesses around the world would have just decided to suspend operations altogether during the pandemic rather than even give the option of working from home. Elon Musk is against using an office within a home, yet in a way finds ways to turn his office into a home. The rise of technology offers modern urban planning an opportunity to utilize the same piece of land to serve as both commercial and residential living, rather than the traditional method of strictly making scarce land exclusively just one or the other. Conceptually, one could designate a set of floors reserved strictly for the offices of Company A, while the other set of floors in the same building can be reserved to serve as the residence of the employees of that same company. Crudely put, one could quite literally live where he or she works. I quite enjoyed waking up at Hmlet at 6 AM to work out. Oh, there's another wild chicken there. Get a delicious and inexpensive breakfast from the nearby hawker center across the street, where they have wonderful pastry puffs or chicken and duck rice. Take it back to the communal kitchen to pick up my cup of coffee. Pro tip, bring your own thermos so you can have hot coffee and ice cold water from your room at all times. And read a book or watch the news while chowing down on my lounge chair within my private room. After I use the bathroom, I would find a spot among the desks and work. Having my private bedroom within quick reach allowed me to even take a 15-minute siesta on an actual bed after lunch before heading back to work. Being able to be home at a moment's notice is really quite a calming thought as I work. This of course does not solve obvious psychological problems created when there is no barrier between your personal life and your professional one. Can you imagine being woken up by your boss who might live in the room across from you every night because you hadn't replied to his email yet, or having to put on something proper if you want to go from your room to the communal kitchen? It would be a nightmarish and anxiety-ridden existence to not have both the physical and psychological barriers in place. Conceptually, however, we are at the point where both work and living can be achieved under the same roof. And I think what is primarily holding us back right now is that the concept of work from home is still very new for us human beings. It takes time for people to naturally create the social norms of work accountability and mannerisms to maintain and grow the sacredness of developing a separate professional and personal life while working and living in the same place. The concept is novel and culturally drastic, considering we have been fortifying the separation of the two for so many years.
I was a little worried about that first job. I guess everybody is. But Miss Purcell's advice kept running through my head.
First of all, know your work. Enjoy it. And also enjoy the people that you're working with.
While the movement to merge them only began 3 years ago out of necessity due to the pandemic. Number 3, communal living is healthy psychologically. I never thought it would be fun sharing a fridge with strangers before, but it is. Everyone can place anything in the fridge and attach a sticker with their room number and their date of checkout in order to somewhat guarantee that no one will steal their raw ingredients. One time, there was a 6-pack of Heineken beer there in September, and when I was back in November, it was still there. The tag indicated the guest had checked out a month ago, and so I partook of this gift from the community. Another time, someone left a whole tub of protein powder with a note that anyone could take the whole thing as they couldn't bring it with them. Another time, a bunch of college kids had ordered too much pizza and gave me and my partner a full untouched box. Such nice kids. Another morning, I was getting coffee in my baggy t-shirt and a Malaysian journalist struck up a conversation wanting to interview me on how I felt about the Hmlet concept. I myself did my part by helping fellow guests get coffee when our floor's machine was under repair by pointing them to the machine in the identical communal kitchen above us. I lent my pocket pen a few times to someone at the kitchen and, of course, gave back to the communal kitchen pantry an unopened bottle of pasta sauce just before I left. Overall, it's fun being part of a community every day, provided there is a space where we can retire to which is just for us. Unlike a hostel or capsule hotel, Hmlet has wonderful minimalist rooms where I can get the privacy and comfort I need when I don't want to socialize. This is unlike a capsule hotel whereby the only level of privacy you have is a sheet and hollow plastic wall. There is unfortunately a phenomenon in Japan called kokokushi, or dying alone, where a lot of the aging population of Japan live out the last of their days in isolation. A strong suicidal rate in Japan and Korea have highlighted the dangers of being lonely. While Hmlet isn't meant to be a place where lifelong friendships are made, it nevertheless made me feel more alive and active when I had ever been during the pandemic. And that was in no small part due to how socially rejuvenating it is to be around people. While we can obviously be around people in the mall or on the subway, the intimacy of living with others is particularly more nourishing to me psychologically. The opportunity to be generous with others while being pleasantly surprised when generosity naturally comes our way makes me feel as though I'm playing my part in making the world a better place. Being around individuals who are also absorbed in their work is similarly quite contagious. I thus never felt the desire to retire to my room and veg out on Netflix instead of being productive. If the coffee shop atmosphere makes you more productive, then this setup will be your paradise. In conclusion, I was pleasantly surprised at the lodging concept of Hmlet Cantonment, which melds the privacy of a home and the community of an office into a single setting. While it has a waiting pool, a fitness space, several communal kitchens which are furnished and constructed identically to one another, the most appealing factor is that it attracts like-minded professionals who enjoy living as kings in their own 25 square meter castle while creating an opportunity to be neighborly at the coffee machine a few meters down the hall. It is my hope that more businesses and urban planners of densely packed cities explore this hybrid concept of a home, as it might be part of the solution of solving various housing crises. Special shout out to Zoo, one of the very helpful staff members of Hmlet, for making sure I always had everything I needed and for being a constantly friendly face each time I visit. In case you're heading to Singapore, I highly recommend you give Hmlet a shot. They have various room sizes for those traveling alone or with a family, and it is well situated in the heart of the city. During your time here, I hope you find the time to dwell on how tech is changing not only the things we bring with us, but the things we no longer need and how that affects the places we go to every day. Thank you for watching Living with Tech's pilot video. Let me know in the comment section below what housing problems your city is experiencing. Have you returned to the office lately? What's it like compared to working from home during the pandemic? Till next time, I'm Rafael and this is Living with Tech.